Right, hello. I'm doing the Roundup video that I want to do sort of as a series every week, but I'm doing it on Thursday rather than Sunday because I'm in Bologna for the weekend. So if you see me and you know who I am, say hi. It's really nice. I like it when people say hi to me. Um, but yeah, I'll touch over where I'm sort of at with my list and what I'm bringing. This isn't the exact list I'm bringing to Bologna, just because I don't want to be too. I'm going to be playing Blue Steel, but I don't particularly want to be too public about what my Blue Steel list is, just because if I pair into you and you do seem to know who I am, it's a bit unfortunate that you would know my deck list and I won't know yours. um, so yeah, but you're still Blue Steel and you still know there's going to be the Herons and the times and all of that stuff happening. So yeah, what I've got on the screen isn't far off what I'll be performing with. This is the one that got me one of the store champs on Sunday, and I just thought I would cover over how some of the really key factors of this. So we did 5 rounds, and we did not ID any of the rounds, and then we did the top eight to first, which I ended up coming away with a win. We only dropped one game, and from that game, actually, we learned quite a lot from it as well. What we might need to improve going into the further sets, because the deck we lost to seemed like it's going to be quite popular now. But yeah, it was 5 rounds, and the reason why we didn't ID or do it is because they had a really cool system at the store, which was every win in Swiss was a pack. So it just made sense just to play them out just for extra packs. Because when you're IDing at the top, it doesn't matter anyway. You're probably debt guaranteed in. If you've got 4 wins, you're guaranteed in. So you might as well just play for a extra pack at the end. And even a 3-2, you're still some of these like the size of these events with like 30-man events, you still can bubble in. Um, but yeah, it was really good. As I say, one of the standout thing is at a lot of events, mainly at major big ones, you don't see it as much, but they are still making up a percent of the meta. Is the sort of aggro based decks, decks that include Merfolk, decks that include two questers for one, sort of cheaper characters. Purple Steel, the older versions of Green Steel with Merfolk. Green Purple, I think I don't think it's the tempo deck it used to be. I think it is an aggro. When you're playing things like Merfolk, Flynn, Jack, which are all two questers that sort of do a bit of disruption whilst they quest, because that's how Green does its aggro questing. But a card that really just stood out so much was Hook in those things, just because we wanted to get 2-0 wins. This was a best of three store champs, but of course we're practicing for Bologna. We want to make sure we can get 2-0s. So just being able to play Hook out and dealing whatever they had that early on was just really impactful. Lowering how much lore they get before we get to ramp into bigger things like Big Tinkerbell and stuff like that was just really big. And when you're on the draw, you got the extra card in the hand, so Merfolk didn't feel as bad when he takes the discard. If it stopped the drawing, they can't really hit back with anything because they're just playing cheap questers. So yeah, I'll admit Captain Hook. He's a missed card. I used to love the card in set three, so it's just really nice to get him out and just play with him again, and make sure to get those 2-0 wins because in best of three, I don't know if I'd be that bothered by it because I can tend to squeeze out a 2-1 or a 2-0 here and there in Swiss. I mean, we did it before without the first All Champs. I only had 2 Argus and 4 Smees, so you could squeeze it out. But yeah, him just there instantly in the board impacting it. Him with an Argus equals removal for a castle. So by turn two we had 7 damage that we could throw out anywhere, which was just really nice. It never felt that flimsy. You wouldn't exert it unless you wanted to, or you knew what the repercussions of exerting it was. I even feel if a Captain Hook can soak up removal, anything besides Singlet the Storm Raging, everything else, it's like that's actually pretty decent that we sucked up some removal from this Captain Hook card that we didn't really care about. He can quest as well into red decks. He can. I wouldn't trade it into a Chernobog, but if you play it and they play a Chernobog, they tend to not want to quest with it. So just even that like level of importance of the card is so good. We're back onto Hardhead. It's these weird applications where Hardhead's fun and useful for me. When it's like you want to get your aerial to proc, but they have one more item, so you can play a Hardhead health and just equal it out for you. Of course, still Dime, Quill, those targets are still all great. And even into Steel Song, where they've got flutes out, they might bank on playing a flute and then just wheeling and removing you. But now you're like, you can wheel and remove me, but you won't be getting the one lore return or however much lore you want to get from your flutes. So I found him quite useful. Just overall, now the items I think will have quite a big importance in the game, and also as we just get more items, more decks will want to play more items because they just have more options. It's really good. And as I said, in Swiss, the only round we lost was to a Steel Song. We went 1-2. First game, it was also the only game I won a die roll on. First game was just completely rolled over by the high rolling. You know, they set up their singer and then they started wheeling, and what we were wheeling into wasn't very good for us, and what they were wheeling was very good. And that just went on until it fizzled out. Game two, we got on the play again, and that didn't happen, so we managed to get the win. And then game three, there's two turns where we just weren't inking and we weren't playing anything. But both people were in that spot where the next one to wheel was going to be the one to lose as well. But also, if you don't wheel, you're sort of lost as well. So you know, it was a brutal game. And I'll admit that Steel Song deck with the blues, the flutes, the Pride Land, some of them have. They have aggressive removal back towards you with item removal and actions and things like that. Um, you know, it was just too much really and it all just went over really so quickly. It's easy to say just set up a Cogsworth and then win the board hard with Cogsworth and other things, but if you've already lost before the time that you can set up a Cogsworth, or they wheel you so hard you miss ramp, it can be quite tricky. So yeah, the Rise of Steel Song, I think we're going to have these fun games. I never feel unfavored into Steel Song. As I'm still mentioning, Cogsworth is great, but maybe more removal cards are required. Maybe more options to ramp that aren't actions or any non-character ones. So maybe Tippo, I don't know. That's a weird train of thought, but maybe Tippo would be good for a Steel Song meta because it's another card that ramps that isn't a character, because Bare Necessities is just quite a strong card. But I wouldn't want to go too much into Steel Song match. Don't get rattled by your losses. Just take your losses and move on. You know, the next game might be different. But yeah, I will be going to Bologna and of course bringing Blue Steel. Very excited for that. Played it a couple of times at major events, and I find it's in best of two. Steel Song is a tricky deck. It needs, as much as every deck needs its good matchups. You know, if you bring RP and you just play 5 rounds of Green Steel, the odds are you're not going to make day two. Blue Steel needs. I feel quite confident into Green Steel. I feel quite confident into RP. You know, and different skill levels as well get thrown in on top. You know, you just need, if you get paired to an RB, you just need them to brick or, you know, to struggle with what they're trying to achieve with their win con. Into most of the steel matchups, I feel fine. The purple steel, I feel fine into, except for when they are aggro and I'm on the draw. So Hook should be able to even that out for me, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. I hope everyone else has a good weekend as well of playing. I think Gen Con was one as well. I'm not really sure what Gen Con is. Sorry, I don't know. But yeah, after Bologna's, please do send me messages, leave me comments how your weekend's gone, because it's going to be a good weekend of Lorcana, and hopefully we can cover that next week as well and see what's was achieved right at the end of set five, at the end of set four, because after this weekend is done, you know, we're just going to be diving into set five really, because there won't be many major competitions left for set four. But yeah, and I've done some meta prediction videos on there. I think I'm going to be completely wrong with all of them. But yeah, after this weekend, we'll be diving into set five. But it'd be nice to see how everyone achieved and how it went for everyone right at the end of set four.